Brownies for breakfast? Don't mind if I do. Most of us know that
Hey there, health and wellness enthusiasts. Are you tired of sifting through countless supplement brands at their bold claims only to be disappointed by the quality or results? Your search ends here with bulk supplements. At bulksupplements.com, they're dedicated to providing you with the finest, most reliable nutritional supplements without the fluff or gimmicks. Their products are thoroughly tested and come in their purest form so that you can trust that you are getting the best. With over 500 supplements available in bulk, including vitamins, minerals, herbs, mushrooms, amino acids, proteins, you'll find exactly what you need to support your fitness journey, boost your immune system, or enhance your overall well-being. Why should you choose bulksupplements.com? Purity. They prioritize the highest quality ingredients without unnecessary additives. Affordability. Their bulk options make you get more value for your money. Convenience. Shop easily online and enjoy hassle-free shipping right to your doorstep. And variety. Explore their extensive selection to find the perfect supplements for your unique needs. Transform your health and wellness routine with the power of bulksupplements.com. Visit their website and use the promo code ORGANICMATRIX for a discount off your future purchases. Experience the difference that pure, high-quality supplements can make in your life. Remember, it's not about the supplements, it's about investing in a better you.
That most of the guilty pleasures of sweets and treats can shorten our lifetime with our loved ones. But what if I told you our guest today, Lynne Bowman, our Glam Gran, will teach us how we can reinvent the way we look at food and how we can thrive having brownies for breakfast. Lynn is...
I love when I go to the gym and I see smoothie bars. However, I don't love smoothie bar prices. With my BlendJet 2 portable blender, I can make smoothie bar quality beverages for a fraction of the price, right before or after my workout. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code ORGANICMATRIX12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever.
Living proof that you can cook, eat, sleep, laugh, and walk your way out of type 2 diabetes, along with other chronic ailments. In her latest book, Brownies for Breakfast, a cookbook for diabetics and people who love them, is a cool, fun, beautiful guidebook for anyone who wants to reverse chronic disease and eat healthy. Vegan, vegetarian, plant-based, pescatarian, gluten-free, sugar-free. Plus, she's a grandma. Expect all kinds of advice along with the recipes, interior-exterior design, beauty tips, style, hormones, parenting, and the one thing most of us get totally wrong with our first couple of marriages. Follow our show and bookmark our podcast so you don't miss out on our fantastic Matrix mentors. Lynn, it's an honor to have you on the show. Can you tell us what inspired your quest?
Sam, this is so much fun for me. We've already been talking, and it's been a pleasure to meet you and talk with you. And I want to bring you home. I want to adopt you now. So, sorry, just be forewarned. It's a good thing you're so far away across the country. What started me on this quest was, I don't know, let's go way, 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 way back. I've always loved to eat. I've always loved food. And my mom died, as yours did, very young. I was 18 when my mother died. And as anyone listening knows, that's one of the biggest losses you ever have in your life. And it affects everything about your life from that time on. And in my case, my mom was chronically ill. So she had been not well for a long time. And so my life, even before she passed away, was very much affected by her illness, even though, as is often the case, I didn't even understand how deeply affecting it was. I didn't understand that my mom wasn't normal, because to me, she was perfectly normal. You know, I loved her. She was fun. We shared a lot, but it just wasn't what other mothers and daughters necessarily shared. And I also realize now that I had kind of a feral upbringing. I was a wild child because there was nobody hanging over me. I had older siblings, but they were busy and, and my mom didn't feel well and couldn't do a whole lot. And my dad left with a briefcase every morning. So I did stuff. Even as a pretty young kid, I decided that I would have a party and I had a party, or I cooked or I cleaned or I didn't. But I think it's a thing that a lot of parents need to look at today. There is an advantage. People say to me, well, how do you get your confidence? Well, I think it's that. I think that I didn't have a lot of supervision. I didn't have people telling me what not to do a whole bunch. Although at that time, society told you what to do and what not to do. And I grew up in Pasadena, and I don't know if you know the joke about Pasadena, but, very conservative, very old timey kind of place. It was kind of like Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of Southern California. And so there were ways that we did things and ways that we didn't do things. But I didn't have a lot of parental control. I wasn't managed all the time. I wasn't being driven around all the time. I walked, or I rode a friend's pony or something, or I took my scooter, my bike. And our society now, children are being raised in the back of cars, aren't they? I mean, that's where they live their little lives. They're in the classroom and then they're sitting in the back of a car, or they're on the ball field, but they seem to be fairly caged when I look at it from my point of view. So I always loved food and I loved to cook, and I never had much money. And I dropped out of UCLA after 3 semesters because I thought it was just dumb, frankly. It was boring. It wasn't what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. I made a couple of good friends there for life, and I'm grateful for that. But I wasn't going to do that. So I did, of course, what I really wanted to do, which was I took off for Paris. I went to work, made enough money to get over there one way, and went to Paris, which my whole life growing up was my fantasy. Of course, I was an artist as a kid, and I wanted to be an illustrator. And so Paris, right? And the other thing about France, of course, is food, fashion and food. I mean, hello. So that was great. Came back, went to work, enjoyed working. But I never had any money because in those days particularly women, we didn't make any money doing anything. So I learned how to make food out of nothing because I wanted a social life. And one way to do that, as I mentioned in my book, is you prop your door open and you cook something and you send the fragrance out the door, and you just don't know who's going to walk in the door. And sometimes it's really good. So I think I got a bit of a reputation among my friends. It's, well, we'll go to Lynn's house. She's got food. She's got something to eat. And that was my social life. And then time went on. I actually made my career as a creative, advertising creative. I was an illustrator and then a writer. And so I started when PageMaker was brand new. Do you even remember PageMaker? It was like the first desktop publishing program. And so I published my first book using PageMaker, which was just so new and crazy and different. What fun, it was great. And it was about, guess what? Food. It was called Fast, Cheap, and Skinny. And that was because a friend who had been at my dinner table often said, "This is amazing. How do you do this? You come home from work and I had 3 little ones, Sam. I became a single mom rather quickly after they were born. I had little tiny ones. And so I needed to cook for them and I needed to put a meal on the table for them. So this friend said, how do you do this? It's, you're not spending that much money and it's really fast. And so she said, we need to write this book. So we did together. And then as time went on, my friend Deidre, who I wrote a couple books with, is an actress. She's been on Days of Our Lives since 1976. And we were sitting at her kitchen table one day and she said, I'm going to go to Australia. No, yeah. You want to go? Yeah, I want to go. And so, of course, and I traveled with her as much as I could, whenever I could dump my kids on my sister and take off with her. And I said to her, we need a book. You need a book to take to Australia. Oh, yeah? Well, so 6 weeks later, we had done. And, obviously I did most of the grunt work on it, but she contributed to this book called Deidre Hall's Kitchen Close-Up, which was a lot of these healthy eating things and weight loss things and so on, sort of with a bit of a Hollywood twist. And I went with her to Australia, still have such good memories of that, fun, and took the book, big fun. And her fans loved that. So we did another one called Deidre Hall's How Does She Do It? About beauty, and it was so fun writing it, Sam, because you think, well, beauty. No, we were talking like inside out, how does one present oneself to the world? What is beauty? What does it sound like? What does it look like? Why do we care? Kind of stuff. And I'm still proud of that little book. It was fun to do. And I think, and we got a good response for it. So, and of course it was good for Deidre's character because she plays Dr. Marlena Evans, the ever wise and sexy psychiatrist. So it was a fun thing for us to do. And then I haven't looked back because I realized that I'm very passionate about helping people have healthier lives as a result, like you, of what happened to me. My mom couldn't help her disease. She had kidney disease, chronic disease. She couldn't have helped it. But I now understand, and I'm a type 2 diabetic. And I was determined that I was not going to leave my kids. And I was going to grab every minute of this life that I could. And the way you do that is to be healthy. And the way you're healthy is to work at it just a little bit. It isn't just handed to us. Or, well, in a way it is, I guess. But then after it's handed to you, don't mess it up, right? Keep it good. Keep it okay. And then with this latest book, it's such fun to help people understand that it's not about deprivation at all. In fact, I am encouraging you to eat better, have more fun, eat more color, more texture, more interest, invite your friends over, right? Have more good stuff for your kids. It's all good if you just stop eating crap. That's all you need to do, really. As a society, we've been addicted to crap. And the cost of that is our health and our finances. 85% of the bankruptcies in this country are because of health. And a huge number, in fact, it's a number that almost matches that, are preventable or reversible chronic diseases. You don't have to have them. Stop. And like you, a lot of us are dealing with older relatives, with parents, with friends who struggle with this idea that they need to change what they eat and they need to get off the couch and stop watching TV all day, right? Because back in the day, in the 50s, in the 40s, that was new and amazing and wonderful. The Betty Crocker stuff that came out of a box, the cereals that came out of a bag or a box, those were amazing. And suddenly women didn't have to spend their whole day in the kitchen. Well, and here I am, Granny Buzzkill, saying, no, honey, you got to get back in the kitchen. Somebody has to be in the kitchen making real food. if you're going to be healthy. It's that simple. But the good news is you can have brownies or donuts, and you've been all through my book, I guess, and that's great. So, there's pumpkin pie and there's carrot cake and there's savory foods too. Of course, they're everyday foods, but you can eat sweets, just no sugar. And so many people now don't understand that the new sugar substitutes are fabulous. And when I say substitute, I don't mean some chemical icky thing. They're very natural. Allulose, terrible name. It's a natural product. Chicory root sweetener, monk fruit sweetener. I'm not a huge fan of stevia. Yeah, monk fruit. These
I
are
love monk
terrific.
fruit.
Yeah. And test them and see. Erythritol, another one, terrible name, good sweetener. Just don't. And xylitol, don't give it to your dog. But you shouldn't be feeding your dog sweets anyway. Just don't. But yeah, you can eat beautifully. And the difference is when you eat one of my brownies, you've had something to eat. A couple of those puppies and you are done. You're good. You don't have to eat the whole box. You don't have to eat 10 of them. And if you did, I don't know what would happen because it's real food. It's made from nut butter and eggs or egg substitute. If you're vegan, you can still make it. And pumpkin, vegetable, brownies made of vegetables. There are other recipes out there where you can do beans and so on, but mine, I seem to have hit one that is so easy to make, that's so forgivable. If you kind of screw up the recipe, it's still good. And for those of you who have the book and are making it, bake the brownies at 300 instead of 350, and they get even gooier, which is great for a lot of people. Not so cakey, more gooey.
Hey there, coffee lovers. Did you know that your daily cup of joe might be tainted with oils and chemicals? If you follow me on social media, you are well aware that I'm all about checking labels, and it's time we say goodbye to these harmful additives in 2023. Shockingly, many of Americans' beloved coffee creamers contain ingredients that you'll never knowingly mix into your coffee, such as canola oil, this potassium phosphate, and artificial flavors. But don't worry, we've got your back with Liard Superfood Creamers. These creamers are made from top-notch, all-natural, real food ingredients, giving you nothing but the best in every sip. Here's an inspiring tale. Liard began tinkering with his morning coffee routine almost 20 years ago. He discovered that adding healthy fats like coconut oil to his coffee not only enhanced the taste, but also provided him with incredible energy that lasted throughout the day. Eventually, he crafted the ultimate fuel-packed coffee and started sharing his secrets with his surf buddies. So why not make the switch to Liard Superfood Creamers today? Elevate your morning ritual, fuel your day with clean energy, and never worry about hidden and harmful ingredients again. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to liardsuperfoods.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code Organic Matrix at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
But yeah, eating healthy does not mean deprivation in any way. Shouldn't.
I absolutely agree with you. Eating healthy adds so much value to life. I swear, I feel like I never knew how good life could be until I felt like I was in good health. A lot of us don't even know
Absolutely.
what good health feels like. It feels like it feels better than drinking coffee, because when we drink coffee, we kind of get the sweats, we feel anxiety, and then we crash. But when we're healthy, it's like we're steady. We get sleepy at the right time. We wake up early and we smile in the morning. We're excited to get that morning sun in our eyes. And our food is, we are what we eat. And I feel like when we hear that term, we don't realize that our cells are gathering nutrients so they can function the right way through what we fuel our bodies with. Like, we would never give a car, like a regular car, diesel fuel. So we shouldn't be always out buying things. It's so true. It's also, if we look at our grocery list, I noticed this, especially in college, when I would buy plant-based foods, my grocery bill would be like $40, $60, like so affordable for like a great plate of food. And then I would go into the sections of like buying crackers, buying cereal, buying processed foods. And those things are so expensive. They cost us money and they cost us time. So I
Yeah.
love that you found these alternatives. How did you begin learning how to cook healthy, like reinventing the way that we look at food?
How did I do that? I just was paying attention, Sam. I was reading everything I could get my hands on. And then when Google happened, and here we had the whole world at our fingertips, I could research anything, bada boom, and I had answers. I early on was a fan of several of the big health writers of recent years, and more people have come. Like recently, I talk a lot about Michael Moss, who is someone who has written a lot about big food and the craveability industry. Which, if for those of you listening who don't know about this is buildings in New Jersey full of people whose careers are all about getting you to eat crappy food, making these foods more addictive, more craveable, so you will buy more to increase their shareholder value. That's what they do. They're not interested in your health, no matter what it says on the box or the bag. They're interested in shareholder value. So you are addicted to sugar or whatever it is in their product, typically sugar and salt. You mentioned coffee. By the way, I love coffee and I have nothing against coffee, but it's an illustration of how different we all are. There is a project I'm working on right now is I'm writing a comparison of keto, paleo, vegan, carnivore, because especially you young ones, you are just washed over all the time with all this blah, blah, blah information, YouTubes, TikToks, whatever about, and if I had 10 cents for every time one of these guys said, this is the diet for optimal human health, for optimal length of, first of all, I want to say, listen, Jocko, you're 30. What the hell do you know about longevity or life or anything? Where's a grandma in your show? I don't see any granddads or grandpa, or grandmas walking around on your set. I see a bunch of guys who have spent too much time in the gym in front of a mirror. That's what I see. So that's my prejudice. But they're always about, no, this is the way. This is the right way to do it. There is more than one right way to do being a human being. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's certain things that we hope are common, kindness and love and some things. But if you don't like celery, that's okay. That doesn't make you a criminal. So it's fine. It's all fine. But don't come to me and tell me that you have the one answer for humanity's health problems. Although I could come close, I think, by saying, stop eating crap, no sugar. If there were one thing that we wanted to tell people that we needed to get out there, that's it. That's a good thing to get out there.
I agree. There's nothing beneficial to sugar. It makes us crash. It spikes our blood sugar. It causes inflammation. And inflammation is a lifelong battle.
It causes cancer, and it causes cancer to grow. And we have the receipts on that. We have studies under a microscope. You can watch a cancer grow. You can watch a fungus grow when you feed it sugar. It's not a big mystery. And yet we're ignoring this with the way we feed our kids and ourselves. And you mentioned, Sam, how plant-based food is not expensive. And I get that question all the time. Well, isn't it really expensive to eat healthy? No. This is the person who goes into Starbucks and pays $4.50 for a donut. and $6.50 for some kind of crazy sugar laden, over processed coffee thing with dairy on top of it, not good dairy. And they want to know if health food is expensive. On what they just spent in Starbucks, they could have made an actual really good meal for a family.
It's so true. It's so true. For example, I yesterday I went to the supermarket. My mom is sick, and I just needed to get 5 ingredients for a really good stew. It was like chicken, carrots, celery, potato, some other things. And I came home. It was like $30. I made a pot this big. I
You
got
bet.
like 10 pounds of chicken. Like that's food for a whole week. Like it's
Yes.
plant-based. It has meat in it. I like meat, but it's not that hard. Creativity is like key in the kitchen. The more creative we can be in the kitchen, the tastier the food is. It can always work.
Absolutely. And I'm always encouraging people to eat what they have. Don't go to the store. Open up your fridge. What's in there? Pull the stuff out that's in the back. And there are a couple of recipes in the book that are specifically designed for you to clean your fridge and make soup out of it, whatever you have. Because I know you go to the store, you buy all that kale, and you have all this good intention, and you bring it home, and 3 days later, the kale's kind of like, oh, tired. But don't throw it away. Cook it, and make that pot of soup, or make that whole tray of baked kale chips, or just look at what you have and use it. Make something from it. And the whole idea of a recipe book where you open it up and there's 17 ingredients, 16 of which you've never heard of, and you're going to have to go down to the Indian market to find them. Not that I love it when people learn different cuisines, but who has time to do? That's why people don't cook. Make your cooking fit with your life, and make it simple and understandable. And in fact, Brownies for Breakfast is written specifically, Sam, so that an 8-year-old will do fine, and an 85-year-old will do fine. Anyone can cook from this book. And if you're sloppy and if you don't measure great, that's all right. If you kind of slip up and put a little too, it's okay. And I tell you in the book, in the cases where, no, you need to really measure this part. But for most of the stuff, the way people have cooked over generations is you dump some stuff in a pan. You have a good idea of things that combine well and how to make them taste better. And put lemon and everything, or put salt and everything, or put salsa on everything. That's a great California trick. Oh, that works fine. But let's not be big fat fuss budgets about how we approach our kitchen. Enjoy yourself, have fun, play with your food. It's huge. Play with your food.
I think number one people that should look into your book is if Matrix members, if any of you guys are truckers. My boyfriend's a trucker, and I spend most of my time on the truck with him. And when we didn't meal prep, we bought a giant freezer chest that's 4 feet, so that we can pre-make plant-based meals, like breakfast sandwiches, and freeze them and then heat them up in the morning. And it's just changed our health. We were able to live healthier with that preparation, having pre-prepped smoothies and stuff like that. Because if we don't take that effort, living on the road, if we see how much processed foods, some people live like this every day, where they have to go to the gas station, get breakfast just to get something in their stomach. And I got to see firsthand how my skin was breaking out, how fatigue and bloat, how much weight I gained. It's so important for us to save our money, save our health, and just do that little bit of work. And it just goes and it tastes so much better too.
And save our truckers. Talk about underappreciated people. I mean, I didn't even understand what kind of pressure truckers were under, not getting paid when they're not on the road. I don't know, that's not a good situation. We need to fix that. And it's such hard work. I don't know. I know I couldn't have done it without being arrested, because I'd be in fights with people all the time about how they're driving. I mean, the truckers I've seen, so patient, so forgiving. Really? That guy just cut you off and just about killed you and took your load off the road, and you're just like, huh? You know, oh my gosh. So good for you. And what is it that you're making that is your favorite thing that you take on the road with you? Maybe people would like to hear that. Have you talked about that?
No, I haven't. I'm really happy to. Thank you. Honestly, I'm all about simplicity because I'm a scatterbrain. Like I always multitask and stuff. So I bought like this little blender
No, Sam,
and
you're not a scatterbrain. You're a genius, because you can think more than one way. So let's frame that.
thank you. I appreciate that. And I like that perspective better. So I got my hands on a bunch of projects, and the easiest thing I can do is grab my little blender. I have a Ziploc bag full of like spinach, carrots, and cabbage with mango and strawberries. And I have like different mixes based off of the health benefits I want. And I know how much antioxidants I need to have to fight off blood clotting from sitting for so long because these truckers, they have
Oh,
to sit for hours.
yeah.
So got this little blender. We just hit the button and we have like our meal. And I have things like bone broth protein powder. So I make sure to get like my micronutrients. And then I have like frozen steaks and rice and beans. And that's like our first meal right there.
Do you have a microwave in the truck?
Yeah. And we have like this
Yay.
little oven like this big that we could like bake
Oh,
things
cool.
in or cook them in.
Cool. I actually need one of those for my office. I've been threatening to get one. I will. But may I suggest that my idea of brilliant road food is, guess what? My brownies. Perfect, because it's a meal. Literally, I mean, you're getting eggs, protein, nut butter, protein, good fats, and the pumpkin. The all of the good vegetable things coming out of it. And also, there's a recipe for pumpkin muffins, which is similar in a way, but you can fill it. You can put hemp seeds and ground chia in it. And those little puppies, you can days, they don't need to be refrigerated. And you just pull one out and eat it. And if you want to put some vegan cream cheese on it, great, but those are two really great little things that feel like a treat. But if you cook up a batch, freeze half of it at home, and then throw them in the cooler for the truck, those would be great road food. And a thing that I always fed my kids in the car was a great like whole grain burrito with nut butter rolled up. Do you do that?
I haven't tried that yet, but I have to.
So good. And it's a great form factor because it's not gooey. It holds up. It doesn't fall apart and go everywhere. And if I thought about it, I'd come up with some other ideas for you too. That's a great article somebody needs to write that article right away. Trucking food, for people, for truckers who really want to improve their health. Let me do that, because
Yeah.
it's horrible when my husband flies and he goes to these little sort of quickie mart places every once in a while to get a coffee, and he comes out just going, oh my God, the food in there is just not okay,
Mm-mm. I got really
not
tired of it
okay.
after 1 week. I was like, I can't look at another hot dog.
No, and again, and processed meats, preserved meats, are also carcinogenic. And I'm not making that up. That's not prejudice. That's because we have hard evidence that if you eat enough salami, you're going to have problems, or pepperoni. And, people live on pizza, Sam. And pizza is the most addictive food, that prepared food. The most addictive food is sugar. And you have to lump white flour in there with sugar. It's all the same thing. And so pizza, when you think about it, it's white flour. The whole thing is white flour covered with bad cheese, not good cheese, covered with red sauce, which is full of sugar, added sugar, and pepperoni, which is carcinogenic meat. And maybe they sprinkle a mushroom or something on there, but that's typically about it. And there are a lot of people in this country who are living on it. That's what they eat all the time.
For coming from New York, I used to be one of those people like 2 years ago. I was living off of pizza. Get one pie and it lasts you like a whole week. Yeah.
Well, and again, you can make pizza and have it be a healthy meal, but you have to make it. Sorry. And starting with the crust, it needs to be a cauliflower crust, or an almond meal crust, or even cornmeal, whole grain, some kind of a better crust. And then my favorite is pesto, and I have a recipe in the book for making pesto. If you don't know how easy it is, now you do. It's so easy, and I tell you how. And again, you make it with your leftover. You can make it with carrot tops, dandelions. My favorite is making it with arugula, because the fragrance of arugula when you chop it up, actually, you don't need to go buy fresh basil. No. There are all kinds of ways to make pesto and have it be terrific. So that's what you put on your pizza crust, and then you put lots of olives and tomatoes and, open up your fridge. What have you got? Put it on your pizza and it'll be good if you have a nice base of. And there are all these, if you're not eating dairy, there are all these great vegan cheeses now. So vegan Parmesan, vegan mozzarella, and you can have a great vegan pizza. And by the way, your homemade pesto is full of pine nuts or walnuts or whatever you're using. Great protein, great fat. So there you go. Pizza can be great, but not when you buy it on the road.
Absolutely. And it sounds so much tastier. And I think it's just, there's another form of happiness you get when you eat food and it's actually helping you. And like you feel happy every bite. Like, this is brain food. I'm feeding my blood. I'm feeding my heart, fixing my liver. I'm cleansing my kidneys. Like, that's another level of joy.
No guilt. And your stomach will go, okay, that was good. Fine, we're done. Because so how many people say, oh, I finished the bag. I sat in front of Jimmy Kimmel and I ate the whole dang thing. If you're eating healthy food, you really can't do that. Your body has limits, and it says, okay, because you're not a victim of the craveability industry when you're eating good whole food that you've made.
Absolutely. And honestly, I found a fact that was disturbing, that a lot of the companies that make preservatives in fast food industries, they were the people who created cigarettes, and a lot of the advertisements for how cigarettes are good for you. Like, you have a headache, have a cigarette. And they all own processed foods in most of the like markets. And it's crazy that that's something that's overlooked as the consumer. Like, when I was growing up, I used to think, oh, trust the FDA. That's their job. Like, a whole organization dedicated to making sure we're safe. But as I aged, I realized, like, we really have to watch our own backs, and we have to put a lot of intention into life. And the more intentional, more present we can make each decision worth something more, it just changes life. Like, we just got to slow down. We have everything in front of us to rush, but there is no rush. I mean, there's nothing wrong spending like 2 or 3 hours in the kitchen, because it's a sustainability. Like, that's our whole purpose. Like, I feel like sometimes when we're growing up in this fast world with technology, we wonder, like, what's our purpose? Our purpose is very simple. It's to thrive. It's to multiply. It's to find happiness and pass down wisdom. And I think we can all like be at ease if we remain like focused.
Do you have kids, little cousins, nieces, and nephews? If so, I bet you're tired of the pain from stepping on Legos, and I bet you're fed up with the subpar cardboard jigsaw puzzles. We have a fantastic solution for you today. Go Puzzles. These puzzles aren't just like any other ordinary jigsaw puzzle. They're an exceptional work of art, meticulously crafted from genuine wood, breathtaking designs, and distinct shapes. Go Puzzles promise not only a delightful but stimulating experience, they'll keep you hooked. And the best part? All the pieces are guaranteed to be included, so you'll never have to worry about an incomplete puzzle again. Indulge your puzzle passion with Go Puzzles, a true treat for your intellect and creativity. Say goodbye to flimsy cardboard and hello to premium wooden jigsaw puzzles. They're 100% wooden and they'll last forever. Each piece is hand-drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun, whimsical pieces as you work through it. They come in custom wooden box, which is a perfect gift for storage, with stunning designs and unique shapes. Go Puzzles are a cut above the rest. I love doing the snow globe puzzle myself. It was great to pull out a puzzle and have it done at night and have it on the table and not have it on the table for a week. What are you waiting for? Go to wongopuzzles.com and pick your puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code Organic Matrix to get 10% off your order. This is the most fun you'll have with the puzzle, I guarantee. Or get your money back. Go to wongopuzzles.com and use the code Organic Matrix to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now.
On those 4 principles that make life enjoyable.
And I like that you bring up the connection to the earth in a bigger sense, because absolutely, if you're eating consciously and you're sourcing your food consciously, you're solving all kinds of other problems on the planet. You know, we have a terrible pollution problem because of factory farming. The animals don't like it. The earth doesn't like it. Your stomach doesn't like it. It's the only people it's helping are the people who are putting money in their own pocket, but they also are depleting their soils and depleting their water and so on. I recently read about the whole state of Vermont losing its dairy industry because it just wasn't sustainable anymore. And we're going to be seeing that more and more. We cannot raise animals the way we've been raising animals in these factory farms and not kill off everything around them. So if you're going to eat meat, eat grass-fed meat from a place that you know where it is and you know how they're raising the meat. And if you're going to use dairy, it's best when you know the cow or know the person who has the cow, or even better yet, oh, you've got a little friend there. I've got a big fuzzy thing right over here too.
Yeah, he goes crazy over the other dogs. I'm sorry about that.
No. I've already told you I live way out in the country, so my dogs are howlers, so they're snow dogs. So when they get beaked about something, they don't bark, they howl, which can be pretty impressive if you don't know what that is. It's very kind of North Woodsy. Anyway, we're talking about sustainable agriculture. Huge. I mean, for so long we were ignoring, we would go to Trader Joe's or Safeway and we'd buy a package of something and bring it home and eat it without even thinking about where it came from or how it was created. And so particularly dairy. And a thing I didn't know 5 years ago was that goat dairy and sheep dairy, so sheep cheese and sheep's milk and goat's milk and goat's cheese, different protein than cows. So you may be sensitive, and most people are, to cow-based dairy in some form or other, even though it's mild sensitivity, most of us are sensitive, but you won't be sensitive to sheep's milk or goat's milk. So if you haven't tried goat's milk cheese or sheep's milk. I'm just talking about feta. Most people by now have had feta. And it's not expensive, it's yummy, and it's easier on the earth and on your stomach. So I highly advise backing off the cow juice and going with the goat juice or the sheep juice.
I'm so interested in trying that because most of us become lactose intolerant after we're babies because technically there's no reason for us to be drinking milk. And
Sorry.
a lot of us, I always found it interesting, like a lot of us, like the idea of breast milk, like we're like, ew, but at the same time, like we're drinking breast milk from a cow. It's
Yeah.
just very interesting how our cultural norms impact the way we look at food. And
Sure.
it's just like we have to re-educate ourselves on everything we've been taught. Recently, the government put out a study saying that Lucky Charms cereal is more nutritious than a grass-fed steak.
What?
Yeah, everybody's
Who did
appalled.
that?
Like, yeah, the you know how the government has these food standards, like they update the food pyramid, like
Yeah, but I
like
want to
in,
see that. That's too stupid to be believed. I want to see that.
I'll send it to you right after this.
Thank you. Because no, I'm sorry. No. No. Big, huge, greasy. No. No way. No.
Yeah.
No.
And a lot of these grains, they have these byproducts like glyphosate. And glyphosate causes swelling in the cerebellum in different areas in the brain that can cause autistic symptoms. So it's like the child could have outbursts and symptoms of autism, but not really be autistic, but in response to the carcinogens and byproducts from pesticides in the grain. So it's not like we're worried about our vegetables. Like if we have a method of cleaning them right, we're fine. The real problem is when they're making cereals, they're selling oats, they're not putting in the same care in cleaning those products before they hit the shelf. And that's why it's like so important
to just dry the grain. I mean, it's used so widely and heavily on grains. That's absolutely true. I live in this odd little area, as I was explaining to you. I'm right up the road from University of California at Santa Cruz, and right over the hill from Stanford, and right down the road from San Francisco. And so it's kind of an epicenter of regenerative agriculture. And so I actually can get heritage wheat grown on a local ranch from seeds like your great grandparents used. And there's a bakery. I have to drive 35 miles to get there, but it's worth it because this bakery makes its stuff out of this heritage wheat and the wonderful fresh foods that are available around here. And once you've eaten that, it's really hard to go back to crappy glyphosate covered stuff. And I don't shop in grocery stores much anymore at all. I'm happy to say that my husband has done most of it during the pandemic because we've been very kind of cautious about who goes out and when they go out and so on. But he does most of it. But when I do go in a store, I see the changes in the last 3-4 years. And that is the front of the store is full of grab and go food. Have you noticed that? That it's all been geared to not drive through, but walk through, where you go in the grocery store not to buy groceries, but to pick up dinner in plastic. And I'm afraid many of us are not particularly critical about what is in those plastic containers. We're just too about it, and we take it home and eat it. Well, it's full of glyphosate. That's what it's full of.
Yeah. And BPAs, these forever chemicals, I think it's called PFAs, and they're like clinically they have not found evidence on how it impacts us as a toxin, but because it's indigestible, we have microplastics gathering in our bodies, which is going to interrupt or organs from doing their job, because we see what cholesterol does to our veins. Like if something's blocked off in the body and there's stagnance, that's the worst kind of disease. Like everything goes wrong. And not to mention that these plastics have been clinically proven to be endocrine disruptors. So they disrupt hormones, and the decline in testosterone in men right now is extremely concerning, because
although you can't tell listening to podcasts, because right, masculinity has taken on this sort of strange new form.
Absolutely.
With podcast hosts who know everything.
It's very interesting to me, the amount of podcast hosts that are proud to call themselves misogynists. Blows my mind.
I know. Yeah. So yes, we should all be very aware of the glyphosate problem and telling our local politicians that we care and we want to see it outlawed. Even here where I live, Sam, and they raise so many vegetables, and this is a place where Brussels sprouts grow and are harvested in giant, batches. And Brussels sprouts, right? What a fabulous thing. I learned the other day what some of our local farmers have to put on those Brussels sprouts to get them to survive. And I'm not eating them anymore unless they are certified organic. I was never a huge proponent of it's got to be certified organic. But when in your neighborhood, you actually see what poisons are being put on the Brussels sprouts so they can make it to the market. We have some wonderful farmers around here, and a couple of them said, yeah, Brussels sprouts are actually very fragile. And, you can't really, and you don't grow them on your farm? No, we don't, because you can't really do it without poisons. So I'm not telling you to stop eating them. I'm telling you to look for an organic label faithfully on anything that you buy in produce. I think there's probably cheating there too, but insofar as we're able to insist on, and I live on a little farm and we raise a lot of our own vegetables happily, and you don't need to put poison on vegetables to get them to grow. And I know you need to do that if you're going to make millions of dollars growing vegetables, or even thousands of dollars in some cases growing vegetables. But your friendly local farmers who are at the farmers market, you can talk to them, ask them what's going on. And most of them are proud to be growing really healthy, clean food the healthy way, organically. And it's better. It tastes better. And if you pay a little more to that farmer, how much, a few cents more a pound or something, so what? Boy, as far as I'm concerned, that's a great investment. I want more of those farmers.
Yeah, because you're getting great quality food, and you're saving money from what you would be buying in medication or visiting a doctor. Because
you bet.
And what I found very interesting is when I've been listening to the news, and have you heard of the organization EWG?
No.
I think you would love them. I'm going to send you a link to their website. They're an organization dedicated to doing research about what's going on in our environment. They test beauty products for women on how they affect our allergies, what kind of carcinogens are in there. They recently made an article about Ventura County's farming, on how they put millions of gallons of pesticides that cause developmental issues on their farms, because there's no regulation on how much pesticide to be used. And they found that within a 10-mile radius, all of the schools with children and all of the homes near the farms within a 10-mile radius all had residue of the toxins and the poison they're putting on the plants. And these poisons are in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, on the food, like covered everything. But one of the side effects of this product that they're using is that it causes developmental problems within kids. and they're covering schools. I thought that was very ironic that every time I hear the news about the rainfall, I wonder if there's a correlation on the amount of pollution from spraying chemicals, if it's correlated with the weather that's going on right now.
I don't know that would necessarily be true. I haven't heard anything either way, Sam, but send me anything you can about the Ventura County problem. It's clear that in the United States, we use chemicals before they are really thoroughly vetted and tested. I mean, we have over and over again, there are issues with things that you think, well, wait, shouldn't you have tested that first? And they take them off the market. Well, because the pressure, of course, and even thinking about, let's go back to my local farmers. When I'm saying you shouldn't raise Brussels sprouts with these poisons, well, that's money out of their income, out of their pockets, if they can't bring these Brussels sprouts to market in a way that people are going to buy them. And so that's a problem. And I'm sorry, but that doesn't make it a problem that should wind up being a health problem for me. So somewhere we have to come together about this. And if you go in a hardware store and go in the back where the sort of heavy garden tools and the farming tools are, and the and let's talk about rodenticides for a minute. We had an owl show up dead in our yard not too long ago, beautiful big owl. And it's very personal to us. We hear them. We know they're there. We know what they're doing. They're eating our mice, our gophers. And that's helpful to us. And they're beautiful, beautiful creatures. Well, what typically kills an owl is she will have eaten a mouse that's been exposed to mouse poison. So when you go in the hardware store and you see mouse poison and you see other rodenticides that are being sold to people, understand that those are not only killing gophers and mice, they're killing owls and hawks and crows and this whole ecosystem up above the dirt. And I'm sorry, I don't think that's anything we have a right to do. And we have a tremendous rodent problem. I mean, this year has just been, I've got gophers out here just laughing at me. You swear you can walk outside and they're all just going, neener, neener, neener. I mean, there's so many of them and the holes are so deep. And so, but is that enough for me to put poison out that is going to kill the owls? No. I don't like killing the gophers either. I want to discourage them heavily. And the mice, we have electronic traps, which very quickly and painlessly kill the mice. And I don't like doing that either, but I'm not going to use poison. And I would encourage other people not to use poison.
There's ways around it. Because like you said, it's true. It's very hard for a farmer to grow and make a profit when his livelihood is reliant on the survival of his crops. But there's things now like Kangen water that you can actually get a machine that adjusts the pH level of your water, and insects and rodents know with their senses what's acidic, what's a base, what's not edible. And when you spray these plants with this 2.5 water, it deters the animals, and it's just water. It's not poisonous. And if they had a sprinkler system to spray these things periodically before they get dried out, we would be fine. So it's going to cost us money as a country, but it's going to save our children in the future. It's going to benefit our planet in the future, because maybe, like you said, the rodent problem is so bad because the predators that are taking care of these rodents are going down. Yeah. It's already hard for them to find food, and now their food is dangerous for them. So I love that we brought this awareness into this conversation. And I I think the biggest thing is like reinvention. Like we don't have to lose anything, right, to live better lives. We just have to work a little harder.
Well, and I should ask you, Sam, you, I think, had some questions to ask me or an outline of things that you, I don't know if we've been even close to what you thought we would be talking about. It's been great fun for me, but is there anything left on your list of stuff I need to ask Lynn, or, outline of what we need to be talking about? What did we miss? Anything? What did we leave out?
Yes, I would love to know how clean eating has impacted your hormonal health.
My hormonal health. Well, I haven't had any hormones since the 80s because I'm old. I'm 76. So, hormones. What I actually am a big proponent of right now is bioidentical hormones that you put on your skin. Because I can't say, I have no way of saying how what I eat has affected my hormones. And I would like to know more, but this isn't a thing that there's a lot of good information out there about, Sam. I don't know if you've been researching it and looking, but even the whole idea of bioidentical hormones, women were given some really bad information about, I mean, the studies were flawed and the way the studies were presented was flawed. And I've seen them, and, I'm not just speaking off the top of my head here. We were told that taking estrogen in any form caused cancer, and it doesn't. But there are a couple of generations of women who are terrified to add estrogen to their diet or their skin in any way because they thought it caused cancer. And if you're my age, the issue is bones, bone health, particularly if you're active. I mean, how many times, and I don't know if this is true of the older ladies in your life, but where you think, oh my gosh, she's got to stop doing this or that because she's going to break a bone, and then it's over. Once you break a bone at a certain age, then you never recover and you die within so and so. And I'm a horsewoman and I'm active, and the idea that I would need to be terrified of doing anything with my body, so it turns out that estrogen and progesterone applied to your skin, not taken internally because it has to do with how it goes through your kidney and your liver and so on. You need to apply it to your skin to have it be effective, and it needs to be bioidentical. It can't be horse urine or something. It needs to be properly compounded. It can help strengthen your bones. So sign me up. I don't mind being in the experimental cohort for that. And I'm reading more and more. I have a friend, Dr. Summer Rashid, who has recently written a book on the subject, if you want to look that up. And so that's what I'm doing for my hormones, in addition to eating well. But my current research project is this business of, okay, you're hearing all about keto, carnivore, paleo, plant-based. Where's the truth here? Who's right? Is somebody right? Who is it? That's what I'm working on.
I can't wait to find out the answer. I'll definitely want to sign up to find out and read what your project is on, because I think that this
and
is
in the
so
meantime,
true.
Spread the word about the brownies.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
How can clean eating impact our beauty?
Well, I mean, I'm 76. I still clean up pretty good. I think it's my skin health and my ability to move around and so on and make trouble is largely because since I was particularly, in my 20s and 30s, I did all the stuff everybody does in their 20s and 30s. I drank too much and I partied too much and I ate too much, wrong things. But since I had my kids and since I calmed down in my 40s, I've been very, very health conscious. I've moved, I've danced, I've exercised, and I have eaten as well as I could possibly figure out how to eat. And that pays off in a few decades. You can't suddenly turn your health around in your 60s if you haven't, but you can improve it. And the longer you work at it or just enjoy it, let's say, you will definitely improve your energy, how you look, your skin. So many people have skin issues that are a result of what they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to have them.
Like psoriasis,
Yeah,
eczema.
yeah, and so many autoimmune diseases are exacerbated by, I'll just say, bad eating. The one thing that I see, I'll cheat a little bit of the information I'm finding in my research, but the carnivore idea actually seems to be a good idea for people who have extreme autoimmune issues, particularly in skin stuff. It's a kind of elimination diet that people can stay with so that they can eliminate everything that might be causing an autoimmune disease, because autoimmune typically is not exacerbated by meat protein.
That's very interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So Stay tuned for the next book. I promise to tell all.
I'm on the edge of my seat and I can't wait to try out some of those recipes in your book. Speaking of which, where can we find your book if we're interested?
You can find it on Amazon. It's very easy. You could probably put a link in. It's if you search Lynne Bowman, spelled with an E, LYNNE BOWMAN, search in Amazon or on Google or whatever. I usually pop up, and you can also, and my favorite way for you to do this would be to go into an independent bookseller and ask for it. And if they say, well, no, we don't stock that, you go, what? It's the most, it's blowing up. You've got to get it. But they can order it from their wholesaler. It's available through the wholesaler that supplies bookstores. So the title is Brownies. So I'll wave it around here. Brownies for Breakfast, a cookbook for diabetics and the people who love them. And I say that because you know this, it's hard for a diabetic to eat healthy if they don't have family support. And the dirty secret is everybody should be eating like a diabetic.
Amen. Thank you so much. I find so much inspiration in our conversation, and I'm definitely going to be thinking about this. You're welcome. Every time I'm in my kitchen. I have a few rapid fire.
I'm thinking about truckers now. That's a whole thing I want to really give some thought to. Yeah.
I'm definitely staying tuned because I have a lot of trucker friends now that I want to pass this knowledge to, because you're right, they're so kind and gentle. I want to see them live longer. They deserve it. They bring our goods around the entire country. Without them, we wouldn't have stores.
Yeah. And I'm thinking in the podcast world, there must be a whole world of podcasters who are talking to truck drivers.
Yes, absolutely, because they have a lot of time to listen to podcasts in that truck.
Yeah. Do you have a big audience among truckers?
Not yet, but I'm going to start making content for them.
Let's do this.
Absolutely.
Great idea. All right. Okay. Fun teaming up with you. Let's do it more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lynn. I have one more fun rapid fire question for you.
All right.
What is your current favorite TV show or movie?
I don't watch TV. And movies, let me think. The last time I saw a movie, I'm struggling here. They're not made for me. They're violent and obscene, and they're made basically for 14-year-old boys movies. So I I'm a reader, and I love my music. And now, so what we can do instead of watch TV, I do have a television screen. Last night, what my husband and I did was watch some new bluegrass acts on Amazon through the TV. So it's like having them in our living room. It's like going to the best club and having this great act in your living room. So that's what we do. And I used to love going to the movies, and if you named one, it's been a long time since I've sat in a theater and watched a movie. And we don't tend to watch them on Netflix or Prime. And I mean, after we hang up, I'll go, oh, wait, I forgot. There was this one. And I'll send it to you. But yeah, we don't watch like TV. Just don't. And I advise that.
That's what we need to do. So Matrix members, I hope you feel as inspired as I do from our Glam Gran, Lynne Bowman. Make sure to check out her website, lynnbowman.com. And make sure to get off of Netflix. Let's start cooking. All feedback is welcome and helps us serve our fellow Matrix members. To stay up to date with our Matrix mentors and what we have in store for you, bookmark our website and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. It was great to have you with us on the Organic Matrix Show, and we'll be seeing you on the following download. Thank you so much.